We're live! Yay! Hey guys! It's wonderful to see you. I'm excited to show you a meal today that isn't, funny shine on my head. That's awesome. That isn't just meat-based, because if you've been thinking, oh, you know, slow cookers are all meat-based, I'm sure you're loving seeing that they're not. This is a wonderful recipe that my kids happily eat. This one does make a fair bit. It's like the soup that we made last night, where you're going to have enough for the next day, and I dare say, you know, 2 days of lunches, which I actually see as an absolute win. I want to be able to have that. It's what's going to keep me on track with eating well. So yeah, I think you're going to love it. All right, let me show you what you start off with. This one really benefits from getting some colour on your vegetables. Now, you can absolutely go ahead and chop these up, but where I can, and in the full course too, because you would have noticed it on the description here on this recipe, is that you can use your blender in spots, right? So I love using my food processor blender to chop up these veggies. It just makes it quicker. What I'm going to chop first, and I recommend you guys to do too, is get going on your onion, your garlic, and your ginger. These are the ones that you're really, really passionate about tasting great. Okay, as always, I'm going to grab my little bowl, just like this, and the tops of those onions will go in them, and that's what I'll be able to use when I make my broth next. And I'll show you how I did that. I actually had to film it annoyingly last night. Oh, in a minute. Can you go get dressed for dancing? Sorry, real life going on here. Yeah, I had to film it on my full page because it wasn't letting me, there's been a Facebook update overnight. It wasn't letting me go live in the group, but I posted it here, and that was me showing how I use all of these kind of peels of my onions, my garlics, my leeks, any of them, the tops of the celery, the bottom of them, and that they are a wonderful addition to my bone broth when I'm making that for my different slow cooker meals, and also just to have a drink of. Okay. Rightio. So I'm going to go in with that. Oh, and the ginger. Now, I'm still going to have to chop this ginger a little bit. Like, you don't... It's not going to absolutely pulverize it and chop it at different lengths to the garlic and the onion. So just use your noggin there and don't put a whole big knob of it in. I like to cut it up a little bit. Okay. All right, so we've got our garlic, our onion, and our ginger. And I'm just going to give that a little blend. What do I reckon? Probably 5 seconds at speed 6. We'll go with that. And I'll show you what we've ended up with there. The great thing too, I really love about, see this here? That's the texture that I've got, is that you can keep these as big or as little as you like. There is, friends I know that have made this recipe, and they've kept the veggies. Sorry. I'm okay. Thanks, darling. Sorry, I forgot to get that out beforehand. They've kept the veggies really big because they've actually wanted to blend the sauce. Yes, Joe, using a microplane for the ginger. I agree. That would be amazing. Yeah, but you can keep these absolutely big, and then you can blend the whole sauce. If you've got fussy kids, that can be a really way to go, because they won't be able to see the veggies. But I find with a blending consistency, it actually actually, it just, like, because that's slow cooking 8 hours, it is going to turn quite mushy, so it's fine. All right, so while we're getting the other bits together, get that ginger, garlic and onion frying away and getting some colour on it. I'm just going to pop it up one more there. And then the next things we want to get going on is the actual veggies to go in it. So, hi Julie, good morning. Say hi if you're there and you're watching. These veggies you can interchange with different things, and I really hope that this one becomes a family favourite and you want to recreate it with different veggies. For me, sweet potatoes are wonderful, but this could be pumpkin, absolutely. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly these ones. And to be honest, I don't know how my brain skipped a beat, but I don't have cauliflower. So I'm going to use my tweak and use broccoli. The only ones that I find you don't want to be putting in at the start is things that cook so quick and could turn really like mushy and not have a nice consistency. So that would be something like spinach. It would be green beans, because those are those veggies that when you steam them yourself, they're done in 2 minutes, right? Whereas to cook a sweet potato, it takes a bit longer. All right, let's grab our blender on, and I'm going to do my sweet potato. You'll notice too, this is something that I try and do a lot of. I don't always win at it, but most times I reckon I do, is I don't want to overload the blender. So see there, I've just done the sweet potato. That's enough. That's good, right? And then I'll do the zucchini. And then, I can do the capsicum rather than having so much of it that I can't get in there. Now, with that in mind, what I might do actually is I'm going to change pace a little bit for a sec, just while this is browning off, is I'm going to get going with the sauces in my slow cooker. I'm going to put them straight in here. By all means, you can do this in your in a different pan and create a bit more mess. I'm cool with that. Whatever works for you. But for me, if I can do it in the one pan and I don't have to, do another bit of washing up, I'm in for it. Okay, so let's get going. First things first. Let's give this a little stir again. It needs a bit more fat. I'm actually using the drippings from my brisket the other night. Yum! Waste not, what? Not. What not, waste not. However it goes. Okay, half a cup of peanut butter. Let's get it in there. The recipe for this is in your PDF that as soon as you join on the email that you get. Okay, and that means too, you're going to be able to keep a hold of that, right? It's a PDF. You've got that for life. I want these recipes to be absolute favourites. Okay, so I've got half a cup of peanut butter. We want a quarter of a cup of tamari or soy. I have also made this recipe with coconut aminos, which if you're following more of a paleo keto diet that you, I'm sure, love, and it works perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. No pickle at all. Still got wonderful taste, so feel free to switch it in and out. All right, we'll put that there. And then the next is our Worcestershire sauce and our sugar and bone broth. Okay. Worcestershire, 3 tablespoons, which is actually nearly a quarter of a cup. It's just under with the measurements. Okay. Don't skimp if there's if you're like, oh, I don't have one of these ingredients. You can skimp on that in the veggies, but you can't skimp on it in the sauce ingredients. It just like need all of these. I have tested it so many times. You've got to have that sugar. You've got to have that Worcestershire to add that depth of flavour. It just won't taste the same without it. So please don't go rogue on it. Other recipes of mine you absolutely can, but this is not one of them. Okay, I'll turn that down because it's good to go. The sugar, you're probably noticing I'm literally just dumping all of this. Well, that was a bit more if I do two huge ones. I'm dumping all of it in the slow cooker. Like, I'm so unprecious about this. We're going to do a cup of broth. My gorgeous broth. Let me show you this. From night, cooking away. That's all of the bones that I had used in my last chicken soup, and then there was a whole lot of veggie ends. Let's see if I got another glass jar. I want to show you the colour that I've got on this. It's going to be so beautiful. Oh, I need to grab out the garlic end. All of that just slow cooked overnight. The exact recipe that I gave you in that PDF for 12 hours. I'm just grabbing it so that there's no chicken bones that went in it. There we go. So good. I love being able to get that in. Of course, if you don't want to use a meat stock, you can do that with your veggies. Use a veggie broth. Okay. Rightio. Now I'm just going to start giving it a bit of a stir. I also want to get in the coconut cream. Now, I wanted to talk to you girls really quick about this coconut cream because I have noticed that when I stray from using the good stuff, that coconut cream can split and it can make the dish not great. I would be very, very careful if you haven't got a great coconut cream, and what I'd love you to do right now is turn it over and have a read. So for me, I can see here the ingredients is 100% coconut kernel extract. If you've got a coconut milk, you'll have also water in it. Many, and it's so frustrating, trust me, I share this same with you as well, is that a lot of them have fillers. You'll see a lot of them with tapioca, things like that. It is going to make your satay not as nice. Can I ask that you don't put it in now? Wait until it's now. And if you can, in future, do your best. Obviously, it's really hard to get different things, but try and get this AM brand is perfect. They do an organic one, and the organic one, here's the annoying thing. Please, guys, could you please be quiet? Sorry, Lego on the floor at school. The annoying thing with their organic one is it has fillers. So I know, but when we know better, we do better, right? So just try and grab a really good brand, and the AM one is it. All right, I've given that a good toss, and it calls for 200 mils of cream. This one's a 270. I'm just going to whack it all in. It's fine with the coconut cream. Okay, and that's a really nice way to be able to bring this sauce together. You're probably noticing too that as I'm doing that, I'm also pushing the peanut butter because mine was cold and it's fat, so it's solidified, it's hardened. I'm just pushing them down because I want this, before I start adding the veggies in, to look like a sauce. You could absolutely whiz this in your Thermomix. You know, you could clear out those veggies, wipe it all in, and give it a good blitz, and you'd be good to go. I'm just old school, and I'm doing it this way. Sometimes I quite like, yeah, just the joy of some of these tasks. It's like kneading bread. I quite like that a lot. Okay, cool. I need to get some pepper. Next thing is some salt and pepper. Now, tamari can be very salty. So if you've got one that isn't salt reduced, I do, maybe on your salt. Just do a tiny little pinch and we'll see how it is after. You can taste it at the end. Soy sauce, it's very hard to get a salt reduced one. If you don't have those, then again, just ease up on it. Pepper. After my pickle the other day with those, just fill up my jar. There. Okay, cool. All right, so we've got that good to go. I'm going to pull you in here so you can see the consistency that we're looking for. See that there? How there's barely any big chunks. Get rid of it. I'm just going to keep a hold of this because I don't want it to fall and break. I just sort of squash it against the side, or some of them I squash there against the middle. Keep just going around, and I reckon we're good to go. So now we can just dump these veggies in. This is something that you want to get going on the night before. If you're more of that person that's got energy at night for the next day's food, then sister, do this up, like do the milk up, the sauce up, and chop your veggies. Put them just in a Pyrex container. See here now my onions and garlic and ginger. They're very fragrant. They have colour. That is what is going to make this satay authentic and delicious. Okay, we'll get that in. And now we're going to just start compiling everything. Each time I put something in, you're seeing here I'm stirring it. I don't want it to end up like a huge gluggy mess that's so hard to stir. So let's get in the sweet potato and give that a stir. But before I stir it, I'm going to use my noggin and add in my next veggie to the thermi, my carrot. Actually, I reckon the carrot and the zucchini will act very similar. And then it's not too loaded, but that's an okay. It's only probably a third full. So we'll do that 5 seconds at speed 6. It sounds like it's enough actually, that was 4 seconds. When you start to hear it change and it's not cutting anymore, look at that. This makes you feel so good as a mum, doesn't it? I'm just like, oh, we're going to be eating such good food. Rightio. Mind too, as these veggies cook, they're going to do what they always do, and release the water. So that's what's going to make this still have water in it. I have never once, I reckon I've made this 80 times. This is such a favourite recipe of ours for a veggie night. It's also a recipe that I make, like if someone's sick, you know, you've got to take if you want to for babies and stuff like that. Like obviously you check if you have a peanut allergy, but if they're your close friends, you usually know they don't. I love giving this one because it's so easy, you know, to whack on as well. But it's thick, like it's an easy thing to make, and it's kind of surprising that it's actually in the slow cooker. And I've just never had an issue with it drying out. There was a lady that wrote yesterday though, and she put up a photo and said, "Oh dear, mine has dried out." A lot of us were really trying to give her a hand. But none of us have had that issue. So what I would just really recommend is that you just make sure that you're putting it on the right setting. And that's annoying, isn't it? You know, if you've gone to all that hard work, maybe it's accidentally been put on high for the 8 hours instead of low. So just check that out, right? You notice there that I cut the capsicum. I don't often blend that one. I mean, I know in the recipe I say that you can. I find so much water comes out of it, and my kids absolutely love capsicum. It's their favourite veggie. So I'm cool with it having a bit more texture. The same way with the cauliflower as well. So here I'm subbing broccoli, but I don't need that one to be tiny little pieces. I really like having some texture in this. So get that in. Don't you waste this stalk. No way. Just use it up. Awesome. Okay, and then that's the last of those. I was meant to put that in my chicken soup last night, but I forgot. Right. So let's have a look at how we're looking here. I would say the slow cooker is just over halfway full. Actually, let's call it 2/3. Give it a really good stir. And for me, and I'd be really interested as you guys are cooking this too, can you smell that gorgeous fragrance? Like for me already, I'm like, this smells delicious. You could absolutely taste it, but I'm not going to because I think that the flavors will, let's call it this word, mature as it cooks, right? So it's going to taste different. So I'm not going to go and check that it's perfect now until it's all had a chance to slow cook. Let's whack it in. So I need to just double check. My brain has 6 hours. Ooh. 8 hours. Phew. Yeah, 8 hours. On low. Perfect. What I'm also going to do is I'll have to find it. It might be sitting at the back. I would soak some rice now as well. I love soaking rice, so basically covering it with water and putting a little bit of something acidic or fermented that will basically start making the grain a lot easier to digest. I do that right now. I cover it and put it right next to it. I also have a think about what am I going to serve this with. So I've got some lime. I've got some coriander. The other thing that I love doing is some peanuts. I also really like toasting. I get from the sauce these ones. Let me show you. These coconut slivers. See how they're just that little bit bigger, the desiccated coconut? They're kind of in between the size of a coconut chip and desiccated coconut. Those two toasted together is something so delicious. This is the kind of hacks and tricks that you can use to dress up a slow cooker meal. That this one is quite stodgy, it's quite saucy, it's quite thick, right? So that one just works wonderfully. Yeah, so don't forget those. Now guys, you're probably wondering what's going to happen after this. You probably loved the 3 days. I wanted to just draw your attention to that I have a full course over 4 weeks where we'll be cooking like this. We won't be always doing face-to-face cooking, and I'm not going to stress you out like, crap, I need to be there at 8 o'clock, you know, to see Stace cook. We'll do it once or twice a week, but what you will get is access to a private Facebook group just like this where everyone's making those same meals. And I bet, give me some love with a thumbs up, that you have loved jumping on Facebook and seeing people's wins. It's so motivating, it's energizing, and it's so great because it makes you want to create something different and try those meals, which is that inspo that you're going to love to get you out of your cooking rut and to show you other things that you can cook in your slow cooker. So the first week we're doing things like meatloafs, because you can do that in meatballs. There's lots of little hacks that I can show you of wonderful meals to cook, because I use that guy so much and it is such a good way to keep winter. There's 2 options to join the course. The first is you can join on the flat rate $99 fee, or then if you want to keep learning more from me, you may have seen I'm really big into fermenting. Here they are, there's always ferments in my kitchen, and I have a full course that takes you through video by video how to make things like kombucha and sauerkrauts and kefirs, and sourdoughs and fermented veggies and fruits, so much, your own homemade yogurts, things like that. It has been really popular. I've actually had nearly 3,000 people that have done it in the last 2 years. It is usually $250 alone, but for $350 you get this course, that, and then you get a full year in my meal plan membership, which my meal plan membership is every week meals delivered with recipes and a shopping list as well. So that is really, really wonderful. And when you're in that membership, you get free access to my courses. So all of my membership people are actually doing the slow cooker course 100% for free, because I really look after you. And so that's $350 just alone. And then you get the course and the fermented course on top. So you actually save $350 by doing that. So scoot through. I've left a little link here so that you can come and join the 5 days, the 4 weeks with me. The cart closes on Friday, but if you join now, then you get the recipes now. So you can keep cooking, which I think is a better idea. Keep at that motivation and keep it rolling. This group isn't going to close. I'd love you to keep sharing your wins, asking your questions. It's, yes, sure, the formal part of it has finished, but you still have access to those recipes. There is a PDF, so you can keep them for life. And I would just love to hear that these 3 recipes are new family favourites, and you're going to keep making them again and again, because that just makes me so happy. And it just, can you imagine if you did that for 4 weeks, what kind of cool recipes you could find? It could be a whole new world. You could be having the kids eating different things, and yourself and your husband, eating different foods. I know for me, that looks awfully, if you have that with rice, it might feel stodgy. But for me, the satay, I have that on baby spinach. That's an incredibly nourishing meal. I'm having a wonderful amount of fats that's going to keep me full, and I'm having a wonderful amount of veggies. It's incredible. That's the way I want to be eating. I don't want to just be eating, huge amounts of pastas and carbs whenever we think of slow cookers. It's that. I hope that these 3 days has showed you it's not the case. Like chicken noodle soup, I had them with sweet potato noodles. You don't have to do that, and I can show you with the recipes in the tweaks exactly how to tweak it for different intolerances or different ways that you'd like to eat. So if you prefer to be having it with, dairy-free, some of these recipes, or gluten-free, then you'll have all of that there. All right, loves, I'll email this out for you guys later. I'd love you to come and join the course and tell your girlfriends and mama and everyone about it. Awesome. See you soon, guys. Bye.